and streaming live on the First Federal Facebook page.
It is Friday morning. Little chilly start to a Friday morning, but overall, it's a good Friday morning. Good morning, Todd.
Morning, Moose. How are you today?
Doing good. It's Friday, and we get to have the First Federal program, so I'm always looking forward to this.
Well, thank you for today. We've got Tanner doing sports today as usual on Tidbits, and we have Kyle Riffle on this morning, a special guest from the Soil and Water Conservation District. He's going to share some news about annual meeting and what the Soil and Water Conservation District's doing locally to help improve our environment, basically.
Yeah.
So, I've got some news today a little bit for you. It is winter, you know, talking about 10 degrees outside and
Yeah, it's cold.
maybe
Yeah.
some snow in the forecast. Is that correct?
Possibility of it over the weekend, and I think I saw Monday there's a chance of rain, snow mix.
Okay, well, it's typically winter things, late
Yep.
January.
Yep.
Hard to believe it's the third week of January already.
I know.
Time flies, right?
Yes.
Whereas my Latin teacher in high school said, tempus fugit.
Okay.
Won't be trivia about that.
Oh, thank goodness, because yeah, he would get me there.
So some news in the world today. Verizon and AT&T turned on a major part of their new 5G networks on Wednesday. 5G is supposed to be significantly faster than 4G for downloads and things like that.
Yeah.
However, there's some problems though.
Yes.
The FAA is concerned about 5G towers near some airports. In fact, they have a buffer zone by some airports, and apparently the 5G signal is very close to the radio signal that control the airplane's altimeters. That's probably a pretty serious thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I don't think that sounds very good.
So trivia for you this morning.
Okay.
And I know you have questions for us now too. Do you want to go
Yes.
first, or do you want us?
No. You guys go
Okay.
right ahead.
Well, yesterday was National Cheese Day.
Yes.
Did you celebrate?
I did. I had cheese pizza for dinner.
Well, good for you. So, according to the USDA, what is the most popular cheese in America? A, mozzarella, B, cheddar, C, Swiss, or D, provolone?
Okay. I will have to think hard on that one.
So, trivia for us,
Yes. It's Friday.
Friday.
I mean, obviously it's
Happy
Friday.
Friday.
You guys are here. For dinner, do you guys still cook at home tonight, or do you go out?
Well, COVID world changed things a little bit.
Yes.
So, a lot of people were eating in, but I'm born and raised in Indiana, and from my history of living in Kokomo, Lafayette, Bloomington, going out on Friday night is a big thing. So, I think the general public would answer going out on Friday night, because it's pretty hard to find a restaurant without a wait. It used to be, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I usually go out on Friday nights.
Okay.
So, where are you going to tonight, Tanner?
I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
Well,
Not sure.
somewhere in Fort Wayne, I'm sure.
No,
No.
somewhere in Rochester.
So moving on to sports.
Yes,
Any
sports.
news in sports? Any news in sports, Daniel?
Yeah, there's a lot of news in sports. So locally,
Slow down.
high school and college. We'll hit on the high school here first, real quick.
We always want to support our local high schools, of course.
Absolutely. And before we get into the basketball, congratulations to Bradley Bickle, who set a new 1-meter diving record at Rochester High School earlier this week.
That's awesome.
His former teammate set it last year, and he broke it the other night with 255.15 points.
Okay.
And there were 16 personal records set the other night in that swim meet.
It's great. Rochester has a strong swimming and diving program.
Yeah,
That's evidence
sure
of
do.
that.
A lot of records. It seems like the records don't stand very long in that program because good
Right.
swimmers and divers come along every few years and knock them off.
Yeah.
A lot of basketball going on this weekend. Boys-wise, Rochester hosts Manchester tonight. Pre-game same time as usual.
Same time as usual.
Tippecanoe Valley is at Southwood. Argus is off this weekend. They had a 4-overtime battle with Bremen earlier this week. They came up short, but 4 overtimes in a high school game.
Yeah.
So it's nice they scheduled that rest into the program
Exactly.
after the overtime.
Perfectly scheduled.
Yeah.
And then, let's see, Caston is at Winamac.
Okay.
On the girls' side, Rochester girls got a 42-40 victory over Goshen last night over in Grace College. They host Manchester tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tippecanoe Valley hosts Southwood tomorrow. Argus girls are also off this weekend like the guys. Caston beat CMA last night 58-48. They are at Culver tomorrow night. And Winamac is also off this weekend, but they got a win last night as well.
All right.
Over North Judson.
So we're in full swing of high school basketball now, and now's a great time to catch it. 'Cause
Yep.
season's ending for the girls, and they'll
Yep.
start their
Yeah.
sectional tournaments
Here
pretty
about
soon.
2 a week.
Sectional draw is Sunday, and then
Sunday.
we'll have our sectional preview show Monday evening from 6 to 8 out at the Manitoba News Lodge.
Perfect.
After you go out for dinner tonight, if you're looking for something to do, there's plenty of high school basketball around.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Speaking of basketball, college basketball, the biggest game in the state every year, Indiana-Purdue happened last night, and congratulations, Todd.
Thank you. I didn't really have anything to do with it.
Well,
but
Congratulations to your team.
Yes.
as my brother went to Purdue, I went to Indiana, and after games like this, when there'd be a family-friendly rivalry, what we do is we shake each other's hands and say maybe next time, because usually what goes around comes around.
Yeah.
So
It's
there's another game this year, and maybe two actually, if you count the Big Ten tournament.
yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up. You know, they've only met once ever in the Big Ten tournament. That was in the very first one in 90, I want to say 7 or 8, and they haven't met since. You think they would have eventually? A couple times they were favored to meet, and then one, if not both of them, lost their round games before they got in there. But Indiana was victorious over Purdue last night, 68-65. Interesting game. Sloppy by both teams at times. Both teams got hot and cold at different times. And free throw line, they were both cold pretty much all night.
You know, I bet you if you and I went out to the playground today, we could probably hit over 50%.
I would hope
Of
so.
course, there's not, you know,
No
thousands of
pressure, yeah,
teams
no,
shooting
yeah,
at us.
exactly.
Oh, I'll come out there and I'll yell and scream at both of you.
All right, you can make up for thousands of fans.
I'll do my
Really
best.
try? Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, Todd, they meet again on March 5th. That game will be in West Lafayette. So we will see. I'm just glad they play each other twice, because not too
That's the
long
way it
ago,
should
there was
be.
a couple years they played once. I never liked that. So both teams have another game this week. Both teams have 3-game slates. Indiana beat Nebraska on Monday. Purdue beat Illinois in double overtime. Now they both have home games on Sunday. Purdue hosts Northwestern, who's 9-7. That game's at 1 o'clock on the Big Ten Network on Sunday. Indiana will host Michigan, who's 8-7. That game's also Sunday at 3:30 on CBS. Butler Bulldogs continue their cold streak.
They were on after the Indiana and Purdue game.
Yeah,
last night.
they had an interesting week. They played Connecticut. They played them twice this week. They played at Connecticut Tuesday, and then Butler hosted them last night because of some COVID issues within the conference. They had to shake some things up. Butler got smoked by them both times. Butler's now 9-9 on the year. Doesn't get any easier for them this week, and they travel to Providence on Sunday. It's 15-2. That game's at noon on Fox Sports 1. So I think after Sunday, Butler will have played 4 games in a 7-day stretch.
That's tough.
That's asking a lot, but
Yeah.
kind of got to do what you got to do in the world we live in right now to make sure you get the games in.
Right.
In Notre Dame's in action this week, and they head to Louisville tomorrow. Notre Dame's 11-6, Louisville's 11-7. That game's at 4 o'clock. It said on ESPN Network, so I'm not sure which
Okay.
ESPN exactly it's on. And we have NFL playoffs going on this weekend after an exciting weekend of playoff football last week, even though a lot of games were blowouts last weekand. The Cincinnati Bengals are at the Tennessee Titans. Titans are 3.5-point favorites. That game's at 4:30 tomorrow on CBS. The night game tomorrow is the San Francisco 49ers at the Green Bay Packers. Packers are 5.5-point favorites. That's at 8:15 on Fox. Then Sunday, the Rams travel to Tampa Bay, take on the Buccaneers, who are 3-point favorites. That's at 3 o'clock on NBC. And the Bills and Chiefs cap off the playoff weekend. Chiefs are 1.5-point favorites. That game's Sunday at 6:30 on CBS. So,
Okay, then one last thing before we leave sports. High school basketball coverage by Giant FM this weekend.
yes.
Yep. We'll have tonight's game and tomorrow night's game.
Great.
And then we'll be closely watching the sectional for the sectional preview show
Sure.
Monday.
Fun-filled weekend.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, got the tidbits here this morning. On this day in 1887, the Amateur Athletic Union, AAU, as it's known to most people, was formed. I was surprised it was dating back that far.
That was the predecessor to the NCAA and a lot of things like that
Right.
for sports like swimming, track and field, things,
And now it's taken on a whole different meaning, it seems like. Now
travel basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm On this day in 1915, the Kiwanis International was founded in Detroit. I think that's been a trivia question of ours in
It
the past
has.
when we've had Kiwanis
It has.
members on. On this day in 1978, the Bee Gees album Saturday Night Fever went to #1 for 24 straight weeks.
Disco.
Probably knocked off Meatloaf out of the rankings.
Probably did.
Yeah.
You know, this day, 2007, a lot of pro football fans around this area remember this day. The Colts beat the New England Patriots to win the AFC Championship. Earlier in that day, the Bears beat the New Orleans Saints 39-14 to win the NFC Championship,
Yeah.
which set up a fun Super Bowl matchup for this area.
Grew up being a Bears fan, but living in Indiana, you almost have to be a Colts fan since they're here. So it was a good day in the Van Sickle household because both teams played.
I remember Rochester Telephone Company doing a feature. They went around the community to different businesses and asked employees who they were rooting for. So it was kind of fun to see who was Bears fans, who was Colt fans. I think there were more Colt fans than there were Bears at that time. But I think if you pulled Rochester now, it'd be pretty close.
Yeah, and then you got a few.
Yeah, or
who
the
are
Outliers, or
Cleveland fans.
Browns, or the Broncos, or
Yeah.
And just for the record, remind me who won that game?
Colts.
Colts. That was
Yep.
Manning's first.
Yep, first of 2 titles,
Yeah.
and first Super Bowl he went to, and Devin Hester opened the game with returning the opening kickoff back for a touchdown. So, a rainy night in Miami that night.
Yeah, rainy
Yeah.
night.
And today's National Hugging Day, International Play Date Day, International Sweatpants Day, National Granola Bar Day, and National Squirrel Appreciation Day.
Squirrel.
So make sure you don't hit any squirrels up there.
Yeah.
I think all those first ones can fit in together, kind of, you know.
Yep.
Hugging play date, you know, where you're
Wear
wearing sweatpants
Have
and eating
a-
granola bar, but the squirrel part.
Yeah,
just
kind of.
doesn't fit.
Throws it off there.
Feed the squirrels some granola. Get
Nice.
off your granola bar.
That is, you would show appreciation to them by
Yeah.
giving them something.
It's very good. This.
I found
Feed
one
your squirrel
in
day
there.
today. Well, thank you, Tanner, for the
You're
scores and the tidbits. Have an upcoming event. The Fulton County Habitat for Humanity with the Fair Board is holding a pancake and sausage breakfast on Saturday, February 12th from 7 to 11 a.m. in the community building at the Fulton County 4-H Fairgrounds. No cost, it's a free will donation. The proceeds are going to be used for some great causes. They'll be used for Habitat to help with their build on 7th and Fulton Avenue. And the Fair Board will use the proceeds to build a new 100 by 200 foot building to house livestock and community functions.
Yeah.
So go out and get some breakfast on February 12th, Valentine's Day weekend kinda. Take your date and bride to the pancake breakfast and goes to a good cause to support the community. The Habitat House build, they have a house going on at 7th and Fulton right now. And if you're interested, take a drive by there, take a look at it. And then the Fair Board will be raising money for a new building for the fairgrounds.
Yep. Like you said, 2 great causes. So
Oh,
if
absolutely.
you like breakfast food, go out and get some good pancake and sausage.
Yes.
Now, on money news, I won't repeat the Dow news you brought to us just a few
Yeah.
minutes ago, it being down, but also it's been down all week, almost 1,500 points.
Yeah.
So,
And I'm guessing COVID's playing a lot into that right now.
interest rate fears, things like that, yeah. So, there is some money news. Netflix is interesting. They posted fourth quarter earnings yesterday after the Dow closed. They beat expectations, but their stock price went down, which is interesting because shares plummeted 11% in after hours trading. The market basically was disappointed. They only added 8.28 million subscribers,
Only.
coming short of their 8.5 million goal. That's still pretty darn good.
Yeah.
it seems like.
Yeah, that's a lot of people on Netflix.
They reported 7.71 billion in sales, exactly in line with estimates.
Wow.
That shows how the stock market's kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
They really met, for the most part, earnings expectations, but didn't get enough subscribers, and 8.5 to 8.2, that's pretty close to my book.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm just saying, I want our businesses to do as well as Netflix is doing.
Exactly. Speaking of businesses doing well, Microsoft got in game business.
Yeah.
Bought Activision
Wow.
for $70 billion approximately.
Yeah.
So, you're a gamer, aren't you, Paul?
I am.
So some of those titles that are under Activision, you probably know all about, right?
Yeah, I've played most of them, and it's interesting because there's a lot of those games that are on PlayStation now, and now the question becomes, will those become Xbox exclusives since Microsoft also owns Xbox?
Fingers crossed. I'm an Xbox guy.
Yeah,
so-
I know.
I think the game plan is to be kind of like Netflix. They want to put all that in the cloud. which I don't really see how that's gonna work very well, because you have to have the play devices, and
Yeah.
you're not gonna do as much on your phone or
Right,
your
No.
iPad.
right. Yeah, it'll be interesting with, I mean, Call of Duty, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, two of the more
Yeah.
popular titles that Activision makes, so.
Candy Crush is under that too, I didn't realize
I didn't
that.
I didn't realize that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh.
So, Microsoft's in the gaming business again now, so.
The rich get
Yeah.
richer sometimes.
Yeah.
Peloton, the big fitness bike company, treadmill,
Yeah.
they're halting production of bikes and treadmills as demand decreases.
Oh.
Their market capitalization's down 80% since last year.
Yeah,
Well,
not good for them.
I think everybody who's gonna buy one has one already, so I think they gotta slow it down a little bit.
But their market capitalization still is at $10 billion, so there's still a lot of money that they can burn
Exactly.
before things go further south. That's the money news today. First Federal Savings Bank, got some news here. We're open from 8:30 to 5 today, tomorrow 8:30 to noon. You can always bank with us 24 hours by ATM online. We're still offering Simply Free checking accounts, Simply Free business checking accounts. And we're getting ready to change our gifts, but right now you can get a fleece blanket or Bluetooth Christmas ornament speaker. So if you haven't had a chance to get those yet, call
Now's the
today or
time.
tomorrow, yes. We also have some mortgage specials going on now. There's 4 or 5 specials. Look at our social media. Most of them would include some type of closing cost reduction, or for construction loans, maybe a rate discount. So there's a lot of news on there. If you have any interest in mortgage loans, contact Ben Dalton and Stacy Wilson here in Rochester or for Winamac. They'd be happy to help you out. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're the only locally owned bank in Fulton County. We don't want to be the biggest bank, just the best. Borrowers must meet underwriting guidelines. We are FDIC insured and an equal housing lender. And our MLS number is 39927.
And that makes us legal.
I think I may have left out a 9. It's 39927. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, welcome, Kyle. Kyle Riffle is with us today from the Soil and Water Conservation District.
Good morning, Todd and Paul.
Sorry we met on this occasion where you're a Purdue fan, I'm an Indiana, and we'll still be friends, okay?
Yep, I agree. The streak had to come to an end at some point,
Yeah,
so.
well, good point. You're bringing there 9 in a row.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's good. Welcome. What's going on with the Soil and Water Conservation District?
So, Soil and Water Conservation District pretty much is exactly what it sounds like, soil and water conservation. And there's actually an SWCD in every county in Indiana. And this is straight from the Indiana State Department of Ag's website of the mission statement for SWCD. Across Indiana, there are 92 soil and water conservation districts, or SWCDs, one in every county, which help Indiana residents conserve land, water, forests, wildlife, and related natural resources that encompass our state's 23 million acres. SWCD's mission is to coordinate assistance from available sources, which could be public and private, local, state, and federal, in an effort to develop locally driven solutions to natural resource concerns.
So Kyle, you're on the board of directors of the local district, right?
Correct. I'm on the board with 4 other members, and then we have some associate members as well. So you're allowed to have 5 board members on there. Mike Norman, he's our chairman. Dustin Zellers is vice chairman. Ross Burge is secretary, treasurer. Matt Harsh is a member supervisor, and myself is a member supervisor. And right now we have 5 associate supervisors. We're allowed to have as many associates as we want. We like however many, because having anybody and everybody's input is a nice thing. Right now as associate supervisors, Steve Metzger, Glenn Jones, Ryan Ranstead, Art Gudis, and Adam Lunau.
So what is the role of a director or an associate director?
We, well, first I want to, Lois Mann, she's our executive director, so she's kind of like the head honcho, runs the show for us. She works out of the office, out there at the USDA office. So if you call into our number, that's who you'll speak to. Yeah, she pretty much.
Speaking of the number, what is the number? Do you have it on in there?
I do. So it is 574-223-3220, and then it's extension 3, which if you call that number, it'll run through the extension, and it'll say for the SWCD office, hit extension 3.
So So if our listeners hear anything today, they want to get more interest in, just give that number a call and probably talk to Lois, right?
Correct. And then she can get you in touch with any, if you want to speak to a specific board member or something, she can do that. But she's going to be able to answer most of your questions from there.
So there's various services and things the Soil and Water Conservation District do as part of their mission statement. What are some of those items that we can hear about?
So one of the big things that we try to do is promote cover crops and cover crops in the area, and we have a cost share program for that as well. So why we try to promote cover crops, a few benefits of cover crops: slows water runoff, reduces soil erosion, whether that be wind or rain, helps water infiltration because the roots growing down allows water to infiltrate, increases organic matter, which leads to improved soil structure, soil stability, increased moisture and nutrient uptake and holding capacity, reduces soil compaction, can provide high quality grazing or hay material for livestock. There's a few people in the area that do that, but that's not real big in our area, but you could grow your cover crop and then turn your animals out there in the wintertime. It provides food and habitat for wildlife. It attracts pollinators such as bees. You have pretty flowers out there to bring in, and then you have your bee hives or things like that. It can break the life cycle of some diseases in your field between your cash crop, between corn and soybeans, and it helps suppress weeds.
That's good. We're talking to Kyle Riffle this morning from the Soil and Water Conservation District, and that's just one of the many initiatives that the Soil and Water Conservation District has. What are some other things that they do?
So we have a cost share program for people that are interested in growing cover crops. If you're just wanting to get started and try it, we give you $10 an acre up to 50 acres. Or if you are in the Lake Manitou watershed, we give you $20 an acre up to 50 acres. Lake Manitou watershed is kind of south of the lake, is the main southeast, southwest area of the lake is where the watershed that comes into the lake is at. So if you're down in that area, we have a map that shows who's in it and who's not. And we have a higher incentive to get more cover crops in that area. A couple other things. This summer we purchased a coon crouse accelerator to help promote our cover crops. So that is a light tillage tool with a cover crop seeder on it. You pay us to come out and seed a cover crop for you. The farmer grower provides the cover crop seed. You pay us $15 an acre. We provide the tractor, the manpower, and the tillage tool to do that, and then it just lightly incorporates the seed. And this year we just did cereal rye and annual ryegrass, and we did it on a few hundred acres. And I think it's going to be a good program to have for us to help.
Those are two great benefits. The cost share program, I mean, that's significant dollars there.
It is.
And then even just the mechanics part of the cover crop making, that's a big deal too.
Yes, because that tillage tool, it was very expensive. It's a nice tool to have in our area for people to try that out.
So how would one take advantage of those if they have an interest in it?
So around summertime, we come out with our program that states how much this is, and you just fill out a paper and it says how many acres you'd like to do and where it's at, and then we approve it. You get it seeded, you let us know when it's seeded. If you're doing it yourself, if we do it, obviously we know when that happens. But if you do it yourself, then you let us know. We come out, field check it, make sure you did plant, and then you get your money, and then you see.
Check in the mail, right?
Yep, and then you see the benefits of your cover crop.
So if anybody has an interest in either of these programs, reach out to the Soil and Water Conservation District, and they'd be happy to give you more information and maybe plan for that this summer or something.
Yep. One other tool we have is called a roller crimper. It is a drum that is pulled with a tractor, a drum with chevron patterned blades that rolls over the cereal rye and cuts the stem every 7 inches to terminate it. And there's got to be a specific time you do that. It's May time frame into May, but it's what's called anthesis, or the when it's shedding pollen, and it's like 6 feet tall by that point. You plant your soybeans or corn, your cash crop. You allow that, your crop actually is up. You run this roller through there. It rolls it down, terminates it, and then it leaves a mat there to help suppress weeds. It's a lot of mass, so you're building organic matter, and it helps retain some soil moisture as you go into the summertime. It's good ground cover to keep the sun from hitting the dirt.
So a lot of the initiatives are really kind of natural nature type things to help farm ground, water districts, and conservation, basically,
Correct.
without the chemicals.
Yep, correct. And that's part of what, it'd be a great tool for in organic, or if you're trying to go to non-GMO, help transition you there. Yeah, it's a good way for not using chemicals if you're looking to do that.
Well, as a banker, I'm learning lots today about soil and water conservation district, so we appreciate your time today. There's some other initiatives that you're working on.
Yes, so one other thing that we worked on this summer that I think is a really neat project for us is we're water testing some streams that run into Lake Manitou, so the Lake Manitou watershed. We did that this summer. We had a couple hiccups. The water testing lab we were using decided that they could make more money by doing COVID tests. So we got put on the back burner there. We found a new lab, and Glenn Jones and Lois have actually been the ones heading this up so far. But they go out to, we have specific streams in the Lake Manitou watershed that we do. And what we found has been kind of interesting. A few streams that looked really dirty, you'd think have high E. coli, was actually pretty clean. Then a couple other streams have had pretty high E. coli bacteria. And this last test that we did before we had to halt it for winter, we actually, when we sent the test in, could tell if it was animal, coming from animal E. coli or human E. coli. And there was actually one test that came back with high human E. coli. So that means some of these old farmhouses, or we're not sure yet. We have not been able to pinpoint. We just keep moving upstream.
That's kind of the next step to find,
to find where it's at. And so I think that's a really neat project that we're working on that we'll kick back up this spring.
So this is all good news for our local agri-economy and things like that, and lake dwellers, and
Correct.
it's just so we keep the water safe, and we keep cover crops and things like that, helping our farm ground.
Yep. And then now, one of my final topics is we have our annual meeting coming up. Public is welcome. So that meeting is Monday, February 7th at 6 p.m. out at the Geneva Center. Like I said, the public is welcome, but we ask you to RSVP by January 28th, so we have food preparation in order there. And to RSVP, you call the number I gave earlier, 574-223-3220, extension 3. We're asked for the SWCD office in Lois, so we'll get you wrote down. The purpose of the annual meeting is to discuss the past year's accomplishments, vote in new members, supervisors, add associates, and we have a keynote speaker.
Who's the keynote speaker this year?
The keynote speaker this year is Tim Eisinger, and if you guys are from this area and know Tim, you know that he has a wealth of knowledge. I'm looking very forward to hearing what he has to say. This year, his discussion topic is the natural heritage of Indiana, discussing Fulton County and how it fits into our state's ecosystem. So some
Very
history.
interesting topic. So the annual meeting, February 7th. If you have an interest in serving on the water district, get a hold of Lois and by the phone number. And what are the times for the meeting on February 7th again?
February 7th at 6 p.m. It normally lasts a couple hours. It's kind of dependent. So we run an actual short business meeting. We have to run a short business meeting. And then the keynote speaker, and it just kind of depends how long he talks. Tim can talk a long time, which I really enjoy because he just keeps coming out with more and more stuff. It's, like I said, wealth of knowledge. So anybody is able to join the SWCD, so if you are interested, you either call Lois, come to the meeting, talk to us, see if it's something that fits with you. Our meetings, so for board members, we have to attend, it's once a month, the last Tuesday of each month. We meet at 8 a.m., go over our normal topics, but if you're not interested in being quite that involved, you can be associate. You just come whenever you can and give us your input.
Well, thank you, Kyle. We've been visiting with Kyle Riffle from the Soil and Water Conservation District and learned a lot this morning about all they're doing to try to help out the soil and water conservation. Thank you for your time today, Kyle. We appreciate that, and thank you for all the work Lois and you and the board and associate members did.
Yes, thank you guys very much for having me on.
So moving on now with trivia, Paul.
Yeah.
Yesterday's Cheese Lovers Day. According to the USDA, what is the most popular cheese in America? Mozzarella, cheddar, Swiss, or provolone?
You know, you would think it would be cheddar, but I'm going to guess mozzarella.
You had that on your pizza yesterday, right?
Yeah,
Of course, you're right.
that's why I went with that.
Good choice. We'll close with our words of wisdom today from Martin Luther King Jr., celebrating the anniversary of his birth this week. The time is always right to do what is right. Martin Luther King Jr.
Those are great words of wisdom.
Thank you, Moose.
Thank you. We'll see you guys again next week.